For Off the Block, I'm Vane Lipson. We are now joined by Princeton men's volleyball head coach Sam Shweisky, and we can now add another thing to the resume of Princeton. They have won an NCAA Tournament match, first time in program history, as they defeat Barden on the road in 4 games in the play-in match tonight. And Coach, team hit almost 400 tonight in the win. How would you assess your offensive play?
Yeah, actually, I would say, it was a lot of offense on both teams. I think we hit 80-something. They hit maybe 350. I mean, just both teams really, it was a slugfest, not a ton of blocking and defense. But really looking at the box score, we were very evenly matched, I think we hit about the same, similar blocks, similar service aces and service errors. It was a really even game. And, those first 2 sets, we snuck in a few points at the end, and they kind of went on a nice service run in the 3rd set, and we were able to come back in the 4th. But it was a great match, really good energy, great environment. It was, packed gym and a lot of good fans. And just want to commend Barton on putting on a really top-rate event. The administration did a great job. We felt very, very professionally cared for, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Coach, I do want to ask you about the end of those first 2 games. One of the common denominator there was George Human back at the service line. Can you talk about what you were seeing from him from the service line towards the end of game 1 and 2, and what he was able to be so successful with his serve?
Yeah, I think he's just a real cool customer. I don't think that the pressure or any part of the game phases him. I think he goes back and he just serves aggressively. And I will say it was pretty cool. We had a lot of coaches in the EIVA kind of reach out and give us support, and some just with texts and emails, and some said, hey, do you want some thoughts? We've coached against you all year. Do you want some thoughts and ideas about your team and what you could do better, maybe works against us? And one of the coaches in the league said they really think that George's down the line serve is his best serve, and it's given them fits all year. And so it was nice to hear that from an opposing coach, and we felt like it was pretty cool, not just representing Princeton, but representing the EIVA. And we kind of took that to heart and said, hey, George, let it rip down the line and see if you can do some damage. And he definitely did.
Yeah, well, I want to ask you, going off that a little bit, how big of a win is this, for the EIVA to move on to the next round, and for you guys to be a team, that team besides Penn State that gets an NCAA tournament win?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Obviously the EIVA Final Four was a really special event for us to host in Dillon Gym and to have those 4 teams there. But I mean, literally the minute we won, Pav and Jay and Rummy and, Danny and so many guys, Brian Bays, everyone was reaching out and saying, hey, good luck, and if there's anything we can do to help you, we'd like to help you. And so it was really cool, and we really felt like we had the conference behind us, and it's a unique feeling. We've obviously, no one associated with the program in this decade or 2 decades has had that feeling. So it was really special, and it felt bigger than ourselves. It was pretty cool.
Coach, I want to ask you about the 4th game. You guys wind up hitting 500 plus in that one, and that's coming off of a 7-point loss in the 3rd game. What do you feel was there a big adjustment that you guys made in between the 3rd and 4th game?
No, I don't think. Well, we did switch our lineup a little bit, which is kind of something we do a lot this year. I was remarking to my assistant Pat on the drive back. Just I've never seen a team be so nimble and agile and be able to just switch lineups. And we've had so many sort of hybrid guys, but just moving 2 guys in 2 positions, because we're so adept at being able to adapt and change, doesn't really phase us. But sometimes it's just enough to kind of give an opponent a different look. Every team today is studying a ton of film and getting their guys to focus and kind of expect certain things. And when we're able to change that momentum, it seems to really help us. So. And who knows if it's a placebo effect or we just feel more confident when we change sometimes. But I think that was sort of a nice little sort of boost going into the 4th. Changing the lineup sort of helped us a little bit, I think.
Yeah, and Coach, I want to ask you about 2 players who may not have gotten a lot of pub throughout the season, but have definitely been big contributors. The first is Greg Luck. You look at his numbers tonight: 10 kills, hit 500. Can you talk about what he has meant to your team this season?
Yeah, Greg Luck has meant a tremendous amount to our team this season, because he's just, he's a captain, he's a 3-year starter, but he's a guy who played outside hitter, for the first 2 years, and this year has shifted into a hybrid middle, sometimes middle outside, and certainly the middle doesn't get the ball as much. It's just sort of the fact of life that pins get a lot more sets and a lot more involved in the offense, and he just was an incredible, consummate professional as a captain and led, and just did a tremendous job. And so on the night, sometimes when he's cooking, tonight was one of those nights, we shifted him from the middle to the outside, and, we saw he was hitting 500, I think, in the second set. It's like, hey, I think he needs the ball a little bit more, and we kind of were able to push him a little bit. So just a tremendous job as a selfless leader who, when his number is called, is ready to deliver, and when it's not, he's just a humble leader, and that sort of energy is what makes the team kind of go.
And I want to ask you, obviously this is a great experience for all your players, but for a player like Billy Andrews, been in the program, I believe the longest, is it any special at all to kind of see the night that he had and him getting to have this experience?
Yeah, well, Billy and Kendall are actually both fifth-year seniors, so they've both been here for quite a while. And, yeah, for the two of them to be able to make this kind of an impact, Kendall's been a starter pretty much the whole year. Billy's kind of come in and out. And for him to come in I think it was the second or third set against Penn State in the finals, in the EIVA finals, and make a big impact, and then here again tonight, it's just beautiful. And again, it speaks to these guys who, maybe didn't start a good portion of the year, but as an upperclassman kind of showed the guys that, hey, look, this is life. You don't always get what you want. And if you grumble and moan, that's not what a team is about. And so kind of putting the team first, it sounds like a sports cliche, but it really is what makes a team cook, is if everybody just says, hey, that's what the coach decided, we're going to support and yell and cheer on the bench, and when our number's called, we're going to come in and fight like hell. So, yeah, really proud of Billy and what he was able to do tonight. It's a beautiful thing to see.
And then, George Eumann, as well, I want to ask you, continues on his tear. It almost seems like this is now the standard for him, about 20 kills hitting 400. Can you just talk about the run that he's been on, really, the last two halves of the season, or the second half of the season, where he's just seemed to elevate his play to the next level?
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. And you're right, to the point where it's sort of like we expect that, and now we sort of look for some other pieces to make sure that they're firing and who's on, who's off. We kind of just assume he's going to be on. And, yeah, I think the back half of the season, it's like that's when the games mattered the most. We were sort of in the position to maybe host, and then we would make a run. And the more sort of important the moment is, the better he gets. And that's just an incredible – we knew he was tall. We knew he was athletic. We knew he had a good arm. Obviously there's some things you see when you recruit somebody, but I don't think I knew he was going to be this type of an elite level competitor and performer. And it's from the service line, it's blocking, it's obviously attacking. He just, he does it all. And, it's been incredible to be a part of. And it's just beautiful also watching him become more assertive. There were times in his career I would ask, what do you want to hit middle in this row or opposite in this row? And he was just really a little bit more kind of ambivalent, say whatever the team needs. And now he's taking more direction. He's telling Joe, I want this in this row, this in this row. And it's just great to see him kind of develop that confidence.
For this match, it was the first time in 5 years that you've played Barton. Obviously, you did a lot of scouting and video work watching them. But what was the thing that surprised you most about them on the court, seeing them in person?
Yeah, we played them 5 years ago when a young emergency exit was a senior in college. And, it's been a long time, and obviously their team has changed. Coach Jeff Lennox has done a tremendous job, recruiting some really talented players. So, watching them on film, obviously you get a sense of what they can do. We watched them beat FC, and I think they beat Grand Canyon in 5. They played a tough match with Mason. They beat Harvard in 4. So those are teams that we're familiar with, and we watched what they could do. But, it wasn't until we got in the game really and saw up close, how talented they were that we realized this is a really, really good team, and it's going to be a battle. The 3 pins are dynamite, and they were really hard to contain. The two brothers really play at a high level and are very smart players. And it was a really match that was decided by the smallest of margins. So we're really thankful and sort of happy that we were able to come out on top. But definitely a match that could have gone either way.
Coach, 2 final questions before I let you go, kind of moving forward. Obviously, with you guys having this road match, now I have to get out to Long Beach as well for your upcoming opening round match against Pepperdine. How do you as a coach kind of handle this travel situation that your team is in, where you guys are flying all across the country?
Yeah, it's funny. We kind of look at it like in some ways, we're playing with house money. It's just every new opportunity to keep the season alive is just an exciting thing that I think none of us have ever experienced before. We've made it to the IVA finals, I think 3 times prior to this year in my decade here. And so it's just an exciting time. The guys and the staff love spending time together. And so a chance to keep going is awesome. And so, we're excited to go back to school and study a little bit and then get on a plane Sunday and head out to Long Beach and keep it going. And we couldn't be happier. And it is pretty cool to get to play Pepperdine. You know, we played them the first match of the year this year in December, and so it's kind of a cool bookend to kind of play them here. And the other cool stat I was going to tell you, I'm surprised you haven't found this and asked me about it, but when the last time Princeton went to the NCAA playoffs in 1998 out in Hawaii, the team they played was Pepperdine with George Romaine. So kind of fun to come full circle and get a chance to take a crack at the Waves again. And they're a tremendous program with obviously a tremendous coaching staff, and you know, we're excited to see what we can do against them.
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, Marv Dumpy will still be on the sideline for that upcoming match against Pepperdine. So
that's right.
Yeah.
I'll have to pick his brain on that one. Although I don't know that one. You know, hopefully we can do a little better than our predecessors from 20 years ago. That I have the video. It's a 6-minute YouTube link that has every Princeton block and kill from a 3-set match that was a quick one. But we'll see. Rally score is different. You know, we're excited to play some ball against the Waves.
Yeah. Well, Coach, and with that being said, final question here. You know, as you alluded to, you played Pepperdine to start off the college men's volleyball season. Was actually the first match in the nation. But how has your team, though, changed in 4 months from when you last played Pepperdine?
Yeah, I think we've changed a lot. You know, I think when we set up the schedule for this year, it was a very ambitious schedule. There was a lot of travel, a lot of top teams. And, you know, we took our licks. And I think sort of by the time we made it back to the spring break trip to head out to BYU and play BYU in Hawaii and McKendree, I think we started feeling like we could go toe-to-toe with some of these top teams. And going 5 with BYU and almost taking a set off, or, you know, being in the late, it was 23-all with Hawaii, I think just gave us a lot of confidence that, you know, hopefully we go in against Pepperdine and we play hard and we're not sort of intimidated by their pedigree or their ranking. I mean, we know they're very talented, but I think we're starting to believe that we're pretty talented too, and we're going to try to play some volleyball.